You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
And we're back with Pastor Mike Ashcraft, pastor of Port City Community Church, PC3. So do you ever struggle with doubt?
Yes. You know, when I was younger, I struggled with just sort of a crisis of faith. You know, when I was really, I've grown up.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
Are you? You look about like 20.
That's good. That's good to hear. I'm 40, and I have a teenage daughter and a 9-year-old daughter, and I always get the kind of.
Do you think your youthful looks are an asset?
Probably in our culture, it probably doesn't hurt. You know, I suppose it's kind of a novelty. People come into the church and they always want to know. Like, is your dad the pastor of this church? And it's like, well,
all right. So you hit this time where you had some doubt.
When I was a teenager, I really struggled and trying to wrestle with what I believe, just because some of the claims are so sweeping in their significance of the scriptures. And when I was in college, really wrestling with the going to the ministry, if I was going to give my life to this. You know, it was a big thing to kind of go, I'm not going to be an architect, but I'm going to do this. And that was before the Chick-fil-A kind of that moment. And really wrestled through. And it's always been a part, what I realized in that is that doubt, and I'm going to teach this on Easter Sunday to our church, is that doubt's not the opposite of faith. I always thought that faith and opposite were opposites, or faith and doubt were opposites, but they're not. Doubt has to exist with faith, because faith exists in the absence of uncertainty.
Right.
And that was a huge thing for me to get, and to really be able to translate it to people, that when you have doubts, it doesn't mean you're a bad Christian or you don't believe. It means that questions are good. And so try to really wrestle those out.
So you can exercise faith.
Absolutely. And even when the church got to be a pretty good size, I would go, God, am I the guy to do this?
All right, so today, what's the biggest struggle you have in your life?
Biggest struggle I have in my life, church-related, is probably making sure that we are clear in the direction that we're going, keeping people mobilized in a direction that continues to make an impact on our city, our region, and our world, and just really bringing clarity to that, aligning our staff, all of our resources around that end.
That's a challenge. That's a big challenge because it's so easy once you feel some modicum of success that you just start kind of repeating yourself.
Right. And that's once you get into the building, there was a lot of momentum moving in from a middle school and theaters to a facility of our own. And we knew that once we got there, people would get very comfortable, and all of us, staff, everybody, and go, okay, we've done it. And to really keep saying that this is a launching pad. This is a launching pad. This is only a launching pad. It's a hub. Well, we really envision beginning to blanket. We're going to be starting a new campus in Brunswick County, hopefully by the fall. In Leland, and
you're building.
We're actually probably going to rent a space, and we've got a lot of folks who drive from over there and continue to move into the different regions and areas.
Do you ever feel there's not enough of you to go around?
Sometimes, but most of the time it's just more of we just have such a great team, and really work diligently to cover all the areas. So it doesn't feel stretched for me.
It doesn't. You do four
services on Sunday. It's a long day.
What's Monday like?
Mondays, we used to call them die days, where you just lay down and you kind of die. Now they've become, they're Sabbaths. For me, I finish Sunday, and I really don't worry about the next Sunday, the next week on Monday. And my wife, she takes Monday off as well. We take the kids to school together, go get coffee, and have a date on Mondays, and walk and enjoy the day.
What does it take for you to come to what you're going to talk about on Sunday?
That's a fantastic process that has evolved over the years. It used to be me sitting at my desk going, wonder what I'll talk about. We've with our staff and our small group leadership, and that we've tried to become more intentional about how we lead people and what we are teaching. I actually have a team of folks who work with me, includes a couple of college professors.
How large a staff do you have?
We have, I believe it's 54 full-time and then some part-time.
That's quite a bit of responsibility to be responsible for 50 families.
Right. That's a big pressure. We have an executive pastor, Richie Marshall, who heads up all of our HR and a lot of the organization and our board of directors, and they do an incredible job overseeing the organization.
I read a quote from you that intrigued me. It said, everybody's crazy. We know you got issues. Everybody's got them. I love it. Everybody's crazy. We know you got issues. Everybody's got to expand on that.
With churches, you know, everybody comes in and they put on everything that they think that everybody wants them to see. And so what we've just tried to say is don't, you know, when people spend so much energy trying to keep people from knowing that they've got problems or that they struggle. And as a church, I'm like, we don't have time to cover up. Let's just,
everybody's crazy.
Let's just be okay. We know you got issues. Let's just put them on the table and deal with them. And we can go from there.
You also said that the church seeks non-believers and that we don't need more right people. What did you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is that, you know, we're really targeting the folks that that have struggled with faith and with church. Our goal is not to be right. You know, we're not trying to win an argument. We're trying to help people become what they were created to be. I use the phrase, if God created life, then He gets to define it.
I also read that you once held up a Bible and said, "This is just a Bible. We're going to have to figure out what it means for ourselves." Do you think there are things in the Bible that don't work in the context of today?
No.
No.
The
mentions of slavery, which
I think they're all applicable. I think what people when the context of that quote is not that it's just a Bible, that it doesn't matter. The context is that what we have to do with this scriptures is to become submissive to it, to figure out how I believe in the scriptures. We teach the scriptures as the final authority on matters of faith and practice. But it's not an encyclopedia of answers. You can't just go, well, here's a topic, let me find a verse on it. It's a story. It's history. It tells us of the history of God redeeming His people throughout the Old Testament with all the issues, the mess and the mire of humanity, and then the redemption of what Christ has done for us to take back what He made for Himself. And you know, I tell everybody, when we started in the building, I said, I didn't make this up. If I were God, and I think everybody sort of projects, if I were God, this is what I would do. And I said, if I were God, I would like to have reincarnation because then I could come back as a pelican. So I didn't write the script. I didn't write the gospel. But what I have to do is I have to be submissive to the gospel and what it does for me, and then embrace that by faith for my salvation, and then lead other people in that. And that's the direction we've chosen to go.
We're almost out of time.
Right.
I want to maybe close with one question.
Sure.
Who gets to go to heaven?
There's a question. The scriptures are pretty clear. There's one name under heaven by which men may be saved, and that is Christ. And we extend the great thing about what the message we teach is that everybody gets in the same way.
So you do believe that? Do you believe there's a hell?
Yes.
And that it's an active place of
yes. And I don't say that lightly. I think that the challenge, I tell people in our church this all the time, you can't have those conversations without just the weight of the world on our hearts. And that was what compels us to continue to share this message with people and to reach out to them here and now. You know, I struggle with a lot of the tough doctrines of the scriptures, but because I struggle with them doesn't mean they're not true, and it doesn't mean that I'm not called to be submissive to them, as is everyone else.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Pastor Mike Ashcraft from PC3. We're going to change the tone next week. Yet another Wilmington beauty will be competing for the title of Miss USA. Next week, you'll meet Brittany York, Miss North Carolina. I'm Don Ansell for Byline Wilmington. Have a great week.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning as we explore the issues that concern you.